allô. Le coq de l'école, le coq de l'école, allô, allô. Le coq de l'école, le coq de l'école, allô, allô.
What's up, Milwaukee? What's up to the rest of the United States? This is your boy Track Lacer, about to give you a review of the movie Suicide Squad. I'm actually at the airport, getting ready to head back home to Milwaukee, so it's gonna feel good to be back home. But let's just get into it, man. Instead of doing my review the way everybody else is doing it, because it's like 50,000 Suicide Squad reviews on YouTube already, and the movie doesn't even officially come out until tomorrow. I'm going to give you the top 10 performances in order, ranked, of the Suicide Squad members. I figure since it's like 10 of them, why not just do it that way? And for my purposes, I'm just including the Joker, since the Joker technically isn't in it, but he's a big part. So y'all ready? Let's get to it. All right, number one. The best performance of all the characters, all the members of Suicide Squad, was Deadshot, Will Smith. I feel good for Will in the sense that after Earth didn't connect with the fans, the movie he did called Focus didn't make much money at the box office. He tried to win an Oscar with Concussion, and that didn't happen. But I don't care what anybody else tries to tell you about this movie. Will Smith, by far and away, is the best character. And the main reason I can say that is because there's a moment in the movie that I won't spoil that you will almost have to fight back tears. And he's the only one in this movie that can bring you to that point. But the other thing is that there was a lot of jokes that was, for lack of a better word, it was a lot of corny jokes in this movie said by a lot of characters. But Will Smith was consistent, meaning every time he told a joke or had a one-liner, it was funny, like 90% of the time. He might have only had like 3 that missed, but he had maybe 25 total. So 22 out of 25, it's a high ratio. So that's my first guy. The second best performance, I would say, of the Suicide Squad movie is Harley Quinn. And trust me, she said a lot of corny stuff, but her physical presence, the way she actually looked like Harley Quinn, the fact that she was willing to fight anybody, the fact that she's head over heels crazy about the Joker in this movie, and also the fact is that she's pretty nice. Like, she's a very sweet person. And that seems weird for like a criminal, bad guy to be a sweet person, but she really is. So I think that's going to just endear her over to the fans. So she's the second best performance. Number 3 best performance of the Suicide Squad is El Diablo. Trust me, I don't think any of y'all saw that coming. And the movie has gotten a lot of criticism, but the one thing they're not giving this movie a lot of credit for is they really built his story up slowly. So if you watch my review and then you go see the movie, be like, man, what was Track Lacer talking about Diablo number 3? Because as the movie's going on, he's kind of quiet. He's not really saying much. And he's also kind of reluctant to really get into the fight. But you'll understand why. And you will really appreciate him as a character, probably more than all the rest of them. He was very surprising. Jay Hernandez, salute. He did an excellent job. Number 5, the fifth best character of the Suicide Squad to me tonight was Captain Boomerang. And, actually, take that back. I'm still on number 4. Number 4 best performance I thought was Enchantress. She looked better in the form that we see her in the trailers. She kind of goes through some different looks but the one where she's real dark and her face looks kind of dirty, yeah, that was real intimidating, and it comes across as such in the movie too. But also her powers, her abilities, some of the things that she can do, um, is pretty impressive. You know, she's getting a lot of flack for not being a very good actress in the movie, but when you just talk about the movie as a whole and how many lines the characters had and what they did, yeah, she just did a lot more than the only people who did really more than her was Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and El Diablo. So just off that, Enchantress number 4. Number 5, the fifth best character in the movie was Captain Boomerang. The reason I say that is because they didn't really give Captain Boomerang a whole lot of stuff to work with, and he was still funny, which made me believe that if they had given him more of an expanded role, he would probably have been even funnier. Of course, the boomerang is kind of a outdated weapon to use, but hell, Harley Quinn had a mallet and a baseball bat, so I can't knock Boomerang for that. Good day, mate. The Australian guy. Okay, number 6. The 6th best character in Suicide Squad to me was the Joker. So some of you should probably be saying, hey, Track Lisa, that's pretty low on the list. Number 6? Well, don't shoot the messenger. Blame Warner Brothers and DC Films for false advertising. Because I'm going to keep it real with you. If you watch these trailers, man, you almost think that this is like Joker's movie. But trust me when I tell you, he is not in the movie that much. Not to warrant all the hype that they put him with. And I tell you what, he is so limited in the movie with how much they featured him that it almost makes you think that 100% sure that they deleted probably half of his scenes. They had to. Because when you think about he was sending dead rats to Margot Robbie, as a prank, and I think he sent like a dead pig to somebody else on the set. If they saying he's doing all this creepy stuff on set to stay in character, to be a method actor, why would that man put in all that time doing all that weird stuff to be in character as the Joker, do all these interviews, and then not have that big of a part in the movie? So, Warner Brothers, DC, let me find out that you're trying to treat movies like downloadable characters from Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? You pay $70 for the game, but you gotta buy Leatherface, you gotta buy Freddy Krueger, you gotta buy the Predator. Let me find out that y'all is just making movies and purposely leaving stuff out and then trying to make it up on the back end with the DVD. Okay, y'all already did this with Batman vs. Superman. You're gonna find yourself quickly out of the good favor of us that like superhero movies if you keep pulling this. And just based off the Joker, like, put it this way, so forgive me if you consider this to be a spoiler, but his screen time in the movie is so low that you almost can't even really give him a grade as an actor. You almost can't compare this to Nicholson and Heath Ledger because you really didn't get enough to see of what he could do. Now, visually, Joker looks amazing in this, but yeah, I can only put him as high as number 6 because, like I said, they just didn't utilize him that much. Okay, the 7th best character in the movie was Killer Croc. Killer Croc is another one. He did a lot of this. He did a lot of growling. But the funny thing is that when he talked and when he did say stuff, it was pretty funny. So just like Boomerang, I think they could have gave him more. But the other problem I think with Killer Croc, I think the sheer viciousness of who he really is and what he does, I also wouldn't be surprised if they had to edit out his stuff. I mean, because he's a half man, half crocodile. He's eating people. And if you're trying to sell toys and make a PG-13 movie, you can't have a half man, half crocodile that eats people. You can have him in a movie, but you can't really have him doing that much because, you know, he just can't be that vicious. But me, myself, personally, if I was the brother who had to sit in makeup for 5 hours every day, unless you give me a real nice paycheck, you're going to have to feature me in a movie more than this, you know. Number 8, the 8th best character I thought was Rick Flag. Rick Flag was real kind of monotone, real straightforward, you know, to the point. He also was RoboCop, and I feel like his acting in RoboCop was kind of similar to this movie. It's just something just quite not there with him. I just can't see him being a star in Hollywood. He just leaves a lot to be desired, and that's the best I can say for him. I mean, especially considering he had a lot more lines than Killer Croc. He had a lot more lines than the Joker. There was a lot of people who he got a lot more screen time than, but, you know, it's just kind of flat with him. Okay, the 9th best is Katana. Katana hardly had anything to say. She was pretty good with her sword, but the fact of the matter was, even this whole thing about her sword being able to steal your soul and stuff like that, they just didn't really play up on that very much, you know. So with her, once again, she looked cool with the Land of the Rising Sun red, you know, circle, you know, on her bandana, and her katana mask, you know, was nice, but, you know, they just didn't give her a whole lot to work with, and she didn't really have much to say. And then, oh my goodness, Slipknot. Like, are we serious? Come on, man. We learned how to tie a knot in the 5th grade. Or I take that back, when we 5 years old, not the 5th grade. That's what his superpower is. He know how to, you know, tie knots. Like, for real, man, for real. So that's pretty much it as far as the characters from top to bottom. If I give a movie a score, I'd have to give it a solid B. And right, so if I'm giving it a solid B, that means that it's way better than the way that these critics are trashing it. Okay, it's colorful. Just off of Will Smith alone, Will Smith's performance alone should excise it from being 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. There's no way Rotten Tomatoes should get us the movie a score that low if you see what Will Smith was able to do in the movie. And there is an end credit scene, which I think just, they said that it's the end credit scene for Suicide Squad 2, but no, that's not what it's trying to do. It's trying to hype you up for another movie that's coming out also from DC, and I won't mention it to spoil it, but I've run my mouth for 13 minutes already. This is your boy Track Lacer. It's gonna be good to be back home in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, even though I'm repping Green Bay right now. And leave a comment, let me know what you thought of the movies. If you want to rank who was the best, you know, in the movie in order like I did, feel free to do that. Even if you want to tell me that you don't agree with my opinions, I'm cool with that too. As long as you hit that red subscribe button before you start going in on me talking about how I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, man, we out of here.